watched Sister Wives season 17, episode 13. Overall, I thought this episode was disappointing. I thought this was going to be the moment when Janelle finally gave Cody the business. She did not do that at all. And I was disappointed by that. Before we get into this discussion though, I do want to thank everyone who stuck with me throughout last video. I think it's called a deep dive into Robyn's makeup. It's a deep dive into something. I'm sorry, I forget the exact title, but that was a challenging concept. And for me, at times I felt like maybe I didn't get my point across very well, but I appreciate those of you who stuck with me. And I could see like working through the ideas in the comment section. That was so great. So thank you. If you haven't watched it, make sure you check it out. Spoiler alert, I guess. I'm not judging Robyn's makeup in that video. I'm not judging her appearance. What I am trying to point out is that she is making choices and her choices are changing. And sometimes when we look at choices and changes, we can learn about somebody. And that's fun to like have a different way of trying to learn about these people that we see every week. We're trying really hard to understand what they're doing. Okay, so back to episode 13. I don't know what this is actually called. It's like, I would say it's like a preamble, a few seconds before the main scene actually starts. And this episode starts with that little preamble, and it's Janelle, I think, having an interview with producers, and then they show a bit of Robyn having her interview with producers. And I actually think they've showed her saying this before, where she's saying, like, if Cody's not careful, he's going to get so lost in his emotions that he ruins his other relationships. And if he doesn't get it together, then this whole thing's going to fall apart. And I think, she has said that before, and I didn't pay much attention to it. But this time when I heard her say that, I realized like, oh, this is actually kind of funny. Number one, she's saying that it is possible she'll leave. And that's always a question. Is Robyn going to walk off with all the assets? Is she going to leave if all the other sister wives leave and then Cody's not her path to the celestial kingdom? Like, is it possible for her to leave Cody? And to me, when she's saying if Cody doesn't get it together, then he's going to ruin all this, she is saying that yes, it is possible for her to leave. And I also like, she's kind of subtly saying that if she leaves, if Robyn leaves, it's going to be Cody's fault. Also suggests Cody, Robyn might not be as loyal as you like to think she is. The first sad, weird, awkward moment of the episode happens at the beginning when Truly goes to spend time with Cody at Robyn's house. Of course, everyone's like happy to see her, but it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. There's like a misunderstanding in the beginning. Cody says like, did you bring pajamas, Truly? You know, or you're gonna spend the night? And Truly says basically like, I didn't bring pajamas. I kind of want to just see how this goes. I'm not committed to staying overnight with you all quite yet. I love that Truly was honest about that and said that up front. And it was annoying though, because Cody says, we can get you a big t-shirt to sleep in. And it's like, Cody, did you just get that? Your daughter says she's not comfortable staying the night in your house. Like, check in with her, spend time with her. But I know that's why am I even asking that? That's not going to happen. It was really sad and kind of awkward about watching this scene though is that, you know, these episodes are filmed like a year ago. And so from a year ago until now, we've had a chance to get more information. And I think Christine gave an interview maybe to ET or People, one of those outlets. And she shared that Truly has not really spent a lot of time with Cody and Robyn since the divorce. To me, what makes this sad is that we know that if it's up to Truly on her own to make this choice, she does not choose to spend time at Robyn's house to visit with her dad. The second weird, sad, awkward moment in this episode happens with this conversation between Janelle and Cody. I thought this was about to be it. This was about to be the conversation. It was the total opposite from my perspective. And in a lot of ways, this might deserve its own conversation separate from this video because there is so much to look at and think about when we try to understand what is unfolding in front of us. Janelle and Cody are having what I guess is lunch at a restaurant, and seeing them in the restaurant together just reminds me, like, we have not seen them alone together in a social setting like in a very long time. Lately, every time they're together, they're arguing about the RV or they're arguing about Coyote Pass. And so that was like kind of a striking moment, I guess. Well, it's funny because Janelle really walks into this with the vibe like, oh, I'm just gonna make everything okay. Like she says, she's gonna soothe the waters, just make sure everything is neutral and fine. And Cody obviously comes in with the total opposite energy. So what becomes very clear during this conversation is that Cody is intending to change the standards for the relationship. All of a sudden, it's going to be different what it means to be a good wife to him. And it's awkward because Janelle in the interviews, I am rooting for her. She is the one who's pointing out, he's changing the rules. This isn't right. How dare he do this? But then Janelle at the restaurant actually looking at Cody, she's like, Cody, you're my best friend. Cody, what's wrong? Cody, we've been okay for all these years. And so it's hard, like, Janelle, am I rooting for you or not? I can't tell because you're giving such different energy. But this is one thing I think about what we're seeing unfold during this scene. Like a month or two ago, Christine and Cody's daughter, Gwendolyn, did like a live stream. I forget, it was on TikTok or Instagram or something. Anyway, in it, she says that her father is kind of dealing with the pressure of his lifestyle and deciding whether or not it's the right place for him. Whether or not he has a place in polygamy anymore. And that was a really interesting admission for her to make, right? So we know that Cody is struggling with polygamy, but also we know that in their religion, it's really frowned upon, from what I understand, it's really frowned upon for the man to leave his wives. In a lot of ways, Cody needs his wives to leave so that he can live the life that he wants to live. And so he has to have different strategies for doing that. For Christine, cut off the intimacy. And pretty quickly, it seems like she was like, yeah, this is not going to work. I need to get out of here. And he did the same thing with Mary, cut off the intimacy with Mary. Of course, she didn't leave, but she's so distant from him now that Cody has said he doesn't consider her a wife anymore. And so in some ways, that strategy to cut off the intimacy also worked to push Mary out of the relationship. But here now we get to Janelle. Cody, I think, wants to push Janelle away, but he can't do that cut off the intimacy thing. I don't obviously know their relationship, but my guess is intimacy has not been an integral part of their relationship for some number of years. I think Cody fears cutting it off would not push Janelle far enough away. So instead, he goes where he knows Janelle won't go with him. You got to be subservient to me. You got to trust me to make all the decisions. You got to make me number one in everything that you do. And look, I don't know Janelle half as well as Cody does, but I know that she don't want to do any of that. And so for Cody to ask her to do that, to me, just seems like a real clear attempt to push her so far away that she'll never come back. Okay, so before we get to the final weird, sad, awkward moment of episode 13, we do have to touch on some heartbreak. Now that's one thing this show is good for, is showing us someone whose heart has been broken. And in this episode, it was Gabriel, one of Janelle and Cody's sons. So Gabriel is having an interview with producers, and he shares with us that on October 11th, his father, Cody, called him to ask him some information about having COVID, because Gabriel shares with us that he had COVID in January, so many months before October 11th, when his dad is calling. Gabriel does not tell his dad that that's his birthday. And he doesn't tell him because he wants to see if Cody remembers. And this is Cody Brown. Of course he doesn't remember. Of course he doesn't remember. Well, this is heartbreaking, no matter how old you are. When your parents forget your birthday or forget, any kind of big special moment in your life, it's sad. So Gabriel starts crying in the interview, and it is heartbreaking. What makes it super sad to me is when you think about, why did Cody call then? So Cody called Gabriel to find out about COVID because at the same time, Robyn and her kids had COVID. So on Gabriel's birthday, Cody was calling him to get information that Cody could use to benefit Robyn and her kids. That's like perfect, terrible Cody behavior. To be able to use and kind of exploit his son's experience only to benefit Robyn and her kids. The last weird, sad, awkward moment for me out of season 17, episode 13 was when the Coronapocalypse hits Robyn and her household. In this part of the episode, we see Robyn, like she's filming herself. She's in her bedroom, I assume. She's laying down, and she does look sick. Eventually she's in the hospital then, and again she's filming herself and talking about how sick she is. Cody is the one who took her to the hospital, and he's filming himself in the parking lot. I guess he's in his truck or something, and he says that he's called Robyn. She's in the hospital, and he says like, oh, she says she's just in there just wasting away. So obviously everyone survives the coronapocalypse in Robyn's house, and they're all fine, and they're all reflecting on what that experience has been like. The episode ends with Cody reflecting on his time of having COVID, and he says basically, I'm not social distancing anymore. I'm tired of this. This isn't right. I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to miss out on everything like I have been for the past couple of years. And I just felt like, Cody, can you have some humility in this moment? How much grief did he give Janelle and Christine for feeling exactly like he feels right now? They just happen to feel that way last year. You think he's ever going to acknowledge like, yeah, I get it. They kept living their lives. This is like, I feel silly even saying this. Of course he's not going to acknowledge this. But as I was watching him kind of reflect on like, yes, I'm going to live my life and I'm going to make the most of each moment. It's like, what do you think they were doing? They were living their lives and enjoying times with y'all's kids. And you gave them so much grief for that. He's never going to acknowledge that, have any humility about the fact that maybe he could understand where they were coming from all that time ago. Anyway, like I said, to me, this episode was full of weird, sad moments that were awkward to watch, tough interactions. But let me know, what do you think? What did you think about this episode? Are there moments you think we should discuss more? I am going to try to put together a video just looking at the conversation that Janelle and Cody have in the restaurant, because there's a lot to unpack there. But in the meantime, maybe you and I can connect in the comments. And if not, we will meet again when we continue to talk about Cody, Robyn, Janelle, Christine, and Mary, and the kids. There's a lot of them.